everybody. Thank you so much for joining another episode of Tell 'em Why You Mad, Sis. So today, you guys, we are mad because we tired of people stealing our ideas. And I have this wonderful fathead. She has come to be a fast friend of mine. She is my patent and trademark attorney. We have here Sasha Francis of Francis Law Firm. So I'm gonna go ahead and give my girl her chance to give her spotlight. So go ahead, girl. Tell them about yourself and what you do.
Yes, thank you. My name is Sasha Francis. I am the managing attorney of Francis Law Firm. We also own and operate Trade Secrets Management Group, which is a 360 branding group. We work to register your mark and maintain your mark. We also do DE&I consultation. Um, Francis Law Firm focuses on mergers and acquisition, specifically in the franchise area. And we also do outside in house counsel. So we could review contracts, we could negotiate lease terms and vendor leases as well. All things business, all things on the corporate side. And so that's what we do.
All right. So, Sasha, when I came to you, I was like, girl, I do not want nobody to steal my ideas. Like, because I've seen it happen time and time again to people. And as sometimes as African Americans, we don't know how to get that started and how that process looks like and who we need to reach out to and all this other stuff. What would you tell someone who has an idea that they think is that thing or something that they could build a legacy on? How would you tell them to get it started into protecting it?
Okay, so it depends on the idea, right? So there are several different types of protections, right? So there is the like your business systems, the things that are unique to your specific business that are confidential. Those things are considered trade secrets. And then there is the logo or the name that identifies your business or identifies your goods. Um, that is called a trademark. And then you have goods, and then you have the service mark, which we could get into. But they're basically run the same. They identify your brand. And then you have inventions. Those are more technical, and those are require certain specifications, and but they're considered patents, right? So if you invent something, you would register a patent. You would seek a patent. If you are trying to get protection for literary works, right? So, like books and music, composition, you would register a copyright. And so that those are the different rights that are available. So to answer your question, the first thing that you need to do is if you come up with an idea and you're using that idea in commerce, you need to protect that idea, because what could happen is um, you could find that someone else has that idea already registered, right? And then you would be paying for infringement in lawsuits, which could cost you a couple thousands of dollars. And so you want to make sure that you seek out an attorney. You make sure that you're not using someone else's brand. Also, you want to protect your brand so that no one uses your brand, right? And I also wanted to touch on the fact that the trademark registration, and I'll stick with trademark registration because most clients that I'm finding now, especially in our community, are business owners, and they're looking at specific brand protection, which will fall under the trademark area. So we'll kind of stay in that space for a little while. So um, most brands, what I business owners that I see that they go into business and they don't find it necessary to take that necessary step for investing in your brand. You're starting a business. There's certain things that you could cut, right? I'm also a business attorney, so I do understand the um, fees that's associated with startups. So there are certain things that you could cut as far as costs. However, protecting your brand isn't one of them because, again, as I mentioned before, if someone else sees your brand and they say, "Oh, that's a good idea," and they go ahead and register that mark, right? Then you might be out of gas, right? So you want to make sure that,
Right.
unless you're going to pay for that sale of that trademark, which is a possibility. Okay. But it is going to be costly. And so you go ahead and you register it so that you could have that exclusive rights to it. Now, the thing with trademark registration, it's not enforced by the USPTO. So
Oh.
you don't register and then they monitor it and then there's an infringement and then
Oh,
you call,
wow.
like
Yeah.
they're not law enforcement of
I
trademarks,
never
right?
knew that. I was like, okay, so I guess they'll let me know. Like, I mean, how does that? So you have to do your own research to figure it
Yeah.
out, right? Wow.
Yes. So I usually do set up like Google hits on all the trademarks that we register. So if it comes up, right, and we get some sort of notification, we'll see kind of where the usage is. And so we tend to kind of monitor the ones that we register. Um, but, we tell our clients, you also have to pay attention because it's self enforced, right? So what you do is you you see someone using your mark, right? Say somebody says, tell them why you mad, sis,
Mm-hmm.
and then instead of putting an exclamation mark, they put like dot dot dot. You're like, okay, well, you just modified my brand. That's registered. That R that's right there on the top, that means that it's protected. Okay. Right. So
Right.
let's just reel that back. So you pick up the phone and you say, Sasha, somebody out here using my brand.
Mm,
Okay. And so we send them a demand letter, takedown letter, cease and desist, all the same thing. And we send them a letter saying, hey, listen, this brand is protected. Here's the serial number and registration, right? You could search it on the USPTO. You need to take it down within 24 hours. Otherwise, we'll be seeking um, uh, uh, compensation for infringement, right?
wow.
And so that's the benefit of using an attorney because then the attorney has all your information and they literally just like send out that letter. And if you've ever gotten a takedown letter, usually for copyrights or a cease and desist letter for like trademarks in that space, it's very intimidating. And so you don't want to get that letter from an attorney because it definitely will stop you in your tracks. And that's the benefit of having an attorney and registering that and taking care of that right at the beginning.
So something you just said that made me be like, okay, light bulb moment. So of course, the cost and the is definitely a pressure point for a lot of small businesses,
Right.
and also them determining the value. So you mentioned about it's best to get an attorney, but what if you decide to go out and do it yourself? As far as actually go through the process yourself as doing, because you don't do you necessarily, it's advised that you get an attorney, but people go out and do the process themselves, correct?
Right.
Okay.
People do. And it's kind of like anyone could go to the courthouse and file a case, right?
Right,
You could do
right.
everything an attorney can do. Unlike going to the doctor, you could do yourself. but it's the technicality of it.
Yeah,
Right.
I want you to
So
mention some additional, like, and I think you're about to go into. I need you to to mention some additional benefits of
right.
getting an attorney versus doing it yourself, because I'm going to tell you guys, as a small business advocate, and being that I've worked in the a realm of working with small businesses, I've seen so many small businesses be unrepresented and they've had their businesses crumble. So I
Right.
just want, you to highlight the benefits and give people encouragement to just pay that money. Get them
Right.
pay them folks. They don't got them degrees, y'all. They don't work
Right.
hard for them degrees. They
Right.
trying to help you.
And you know what? It makes a difference, right? I cannot, I'm a business attorney, and so I cannot begin to tell you how many legal Zoom cases I've had, right?
Really.
Where, it's kind of like the H&R Block commercial where they say, you got peoples, okay? When you don't have peoples, on the backside of that, what you're doing, you run into problems. So where you run into problems when you're registering your mark, right? You could register your mark and it could be fine. Okay. And then you all of a sudden you get this notice that it says an official action, an office action, right? And that is where you need legal expertise, because that is where they are telling you, hey, I just did one for my client. USPTO sent me an office action that says that they are um, rejecting, or they're presenting that the mark should be rejected on the basis that there is a possibility of confusion in the market. And so that is a typically a very difficult
Sounds like it. I'm
argument
sitting here like,
to
wait a
overcome,
minute. Yeah.
right? Because it's called a 2D action. So basically you have to differentiate as to how your client's brand is different from the existing brand, right? And it's about something that I said mentioned before, the technicality, right? This is where that legal education really pays off, because you have to go in and you have to support your position by case law, and you have to format arguments that will win your case, because otherwise the alternative is that money, if you're doing it yourself, it's $250. That $250 that you just paid, that just went down the drain and you don't have the protection.
What?
So you could it's a risk that you take, right? And in registering your mark yourself, but if you do get an official action, you're going to have to play scramble to now retain an attorney, because you have to file a response within 6 months. And now you're going to have to, like, oh man. And if you're going to do it, um, most firms are going to charge a retainer. Our firm will charge you a $3,500 retainer upfront that you have to pay before we even enter anything into the case.
Wow.
Right. So
That just sounds like a lot of work though. Like
right,
I'm just sitting here like, well, that just sounds like a lot of work. So that retainer sounds like that may be a whole justified situation, because that sounds
right, right. And so you could avoid that right up front by hiring an attorney who could craft your application so that you could avoid these things, right? And that's the benefit of having an attorney, right? With anything, like I tell clients, just like you could go to legal Zoom and you could get the same contract that I'm going, or similar, not mine, because mine's
mm-hmm.
are
Mm-hmm.
totally different. Okay, I make
Mm-hmm.
sure that you are all the way covered. um
Right? I'm talking about she is thorough. Like when I tell you this girl is on top of it, I'm just like, no worries, it's on the way. And it's literally on the way. Like she does
right.
not play.
Right. And so yeah, so I like to make sure that my clients are fully covered. So I ask a lot of questions, as as we did, and I
Mm-hmm.
find out exactly what you're trying to do, what not only what you're doing right now, but what your future intentions are, so that I could prepare the application and craft it so that it would go through without an issue. And that's the benefit of having an attorney. And I tell people there's a lot of things while you're doing a startup that you can choose to scale back on. Legal counsel isn't one of them, okay? Because an ounce of protection, my grandfather used to tell me, an ounce of protection is cheaper than a pound of cure, right?
Ooh.
And so you need to make sure that you are ready, you are putting your money in for upfront, right? So that you could avoid a lot of the issues that could come up and save a lot of money in the back on the back end.
Yeah. Also, something else, as I mean, as a business owner, time is money, right? Like, and then also, you as a business owner, you have your lane and you're running your ship. So if
Right,
you're running your ship, you can't do that all by yourself. You can't have your hands in the weeds all the time. And you have
right,
to have trusted people to help you with your vision. That's the reason why we're encouraging to get you some trusted counsel to help
right,
you with your vision. Because again, they come with confidentiality. Okay. Let's be go
right,
totally honest, right? And you
right,
don't have to worry about your ideas being spread upon the world. I have heard way too many times, well, I thought of that first. Well, you didn't do nothing about it.
right,
So it's like, if you put your money where your mouth is, if you really believe in your dream, this is an investment. And if
right,
you really value your time, you'll go ahead and just say, you know what, instead of me spending more money on supplies right now, let me
right,
take a portion of that and save up. Because you never know, if you're in the design business, right?
right,
You definitely want to protect your artwork. So
right.
like,
And
just think
so
about
many don't. So many don't. There's so many that have kind of felt the bad consequences of not taking steps to protect their brands, right? And then it's too late because you can't retroactively ask for infringement, right?
it.
Even if
Mm-hmm.
you could prove that you've been using the brand, say you've been using your version, right? Um, for X amount of time, right?
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
can't you can't seek retroactive uh, like damages for infringement. You just it just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. And so you want to make sure that you just take a moment and go ahead and register that, and so that you have that protection, because once it's out the gate, who knows. There's just so many. And larger companies, you see, like I think Nike had like 90 or something cases, where they were, yeah, like they were serious. Nike's very serious about infringement.
Because
But
oh my God, they are counterfeited a lot.
a lot, right, right. And there was this article that one of their top executives, her son was like in on the
Oh yeah, I did read that
entire
story.
scheme.
Like, he used her corporate credit card or something to buy shoes to
Right,
resell. Like,
right, 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 right. So just kind of like brand protection is a big thing, just from the small business all the way up to like the large corporations. And you never know what's going to happen to your business, right? Because you may start off small, and then you have come across a venture capitalist, and that loves your idea, and it just takes off overnight. Now you don't have the system and protection in place to prevent any events of infringement, and then you're stuck.
oh gosh, girl. So let's talk. I want to talk a little bit about more about that, because that is interesting that you brought that up, because like that big idea, you
Right,
know, like that big thing. Like, I think about, the movie Acrimony. I know it sounds crazy, but that guy, the concept that the guy had that big idea. It's
right,
cooked. It took forever, you guys. You see, in that particular movie, it took years for his big idea to come into fruition. So
right,
in this process, she's basically saying, like, hey, set it up to, you never know, that venture capitalist comes along. Speaking of, let's say you have somebody that comes along.
Hmm.
that loves your idea. You're not protected, they steal it, and you may have proof that it was your idea.
Right.
Is there any recourse?
Well, you can file in opposition once the brand is when they try to register it to. So let me just go through the process. Once you file your application, right, you get a serial number, you get a sign. That serial number is your identity all the way through until it's registered, right? So you're registered, you're assigned an attorney. Then once the attorney reviews the brand, the attorney will make recommendations whether to deny it based on what we spoke of earlier, that there's a possibility of confusion in the marketplace. The attorney may say, okay, um, we are going to move past this stage. I don't see anything wrong. They file, they go forward, then it's published in the Gazette. Once it's published, right, you get an opposition saying, hey, this brand is, I'm the owner of that brand. I've been using this brand for XY number of years or whatever, right? So that's where that will come in. So you can fight that. But if you don't know and then you pass the opposition stage, right? And then it goes into registration from that stage of publication, then you are out of gas. So you do have an opportunity to file an opposition, but you
How
know
successful have you heard of any of those being?
it depends. Each scenario is unique, um, but you still have to lay out your case. You can be successful on an opposition, um, but you still have to lay out your case. And so it's less likely that you're going to succeed at that point.
So better yet, just go ahead and protect y'all stuff.
Right.
Like basically, just protect your stuff, you guys. So again, Sasha, I just want to say, girl, you are bad. Like you were bad, Sasha. You have dropped so much information on these girls and these people because I know men listen to me too.
Right.
Um, about patents and trademarks and making sure you're protecting your intellectual property because you do not want that your big thing to be
Right.
stolen. So Sasha, if you would give people your contact, let them know how to reach you, let them know how to hire you, girl,
Right.
retain you, get you a good attorney, and Sasha is definitely one of them. So tell them your info.
So before I get into that, I do want to leave this note in
Okay.
as well, um, because I am also a business attorney, and so valuation of your business includes your IP, right? Your intellectual properties. Okay, those are considered intangible properties, and they are part of your valuation. So if they're not protected, they're not as valuable. Okay.
Mm.
So that's something to also consider, right? If I am doing a acquisition and we're looking at the brand and there's no registration, and it's something that I'm not looking very favorable on, right? I'm looking to acquire it, and I'm going to go back and say, hey, listen, I'm going to have to pay for money to register this brand.
Mm.
So, that's just something to consider as far as the monetary value of your brand.
We should definitely talk more about mergers and acquisitions on another follow up, Sasha, because like I think that's something that these small business owners should definitely put on the forefront because they're having like this is booming time. And the
Right.
best thing to do is like, do what most corporate people do. They start businesses and sell them off. They constantly cook businesses and sell them off. So we need to talk about mergers and acquisitions. So if you down, girl, I'm giving you
Yeah.
I'm asking, please. Yes,
Right. Well,
please.
I would love to, specifically. So what I focus on in the M&A area is franchise, right? And so a lot of small businesses have great brands, like Gladys. Like, wouldn't you love to see multiple Gladys that you don't have to go to Chicago, right? You go to
Mm-hmm.
every city, there's a Gladys. It would be great, right? So a lot of small businesses have great brands that could be developed into franchise, and those systems are there to support it, right? And it's a great way to earn money without having to come up with additional capital to
Mm.
inject into your business. So yeah, I would love to come back because that's
Oh yeah,
my,
because I know you
you
do.
know,
You have multiple businesses, and I know today I was highlighting you being your patent and trademark attorney, but I want you to highlight all your businesses. You know what I'm
right,
saying? So
right. So
give them a
yes,
chance to
so
highlight. This is your highlight.
right. So as I mentioned, we Francis Law Firm. We are a business solution firm. We do all corporate. We satisfy all your corporate needs. We also do mergers and acquisition, which is just the buying and selling of business on basic terms. We focus on in the franchise area. So our clients include Burger King, among other franchises, as one of our larger clients have a 7 unit Burger King chain. And we have Trade Secrets Management Group, which is a branding service group. Right, we take care of your trademark needs. We also take care of your brand, social brand, manage your social media. We also do DE&I consultations, right, for businesses that are looking to spread the awareness and develop systems and policies in place for diversity, inclusion, and diversity, equity, and inclusion. I am also launching my podcast. Yes, Love and Law podcast. I would like to feed your soul, help you motivate and be empowered while you're out there running your business. Our podcast is geared to women, women of color, because I am a woman of color, and I believe that this is a journey that we are all sharing. But it's welcome to all. It's open to all. We will talk about relationship advice, tips on how you should, explore dating, tips on how you should manage yourself while in a relationship. We're going to have experts on to discuss and explore different, respective journeys. We have uh, married couples who had skin in the games. We have singles that we'll be talking. We'll be, you'll see Jennifer on there.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, yes.
yes, we're gonna have girls' night in where we talk about dating and all our stories. Um, and so we're gonna have lots of fun with that. And so that's gonna launch March 15th. And you will have 8 episodes that you could binge listen to if you want. So I'm excited about that. You could reach me at Sasha, Sasha, at Trade Secrets Management. I'm sorry, let me spell that out for you. Sasha at tradesecretsmgt.com, or you could find me at Sasha at safrancislaw.com. You could visit us online at Trade Secrets Management Group on .com, or safrancislaw.com. You could also call us at 954-715-1933. I know that's a lot of contact, but we'll have it post somewhere that you could get it. But I look forward to speaking with anyone, everyone about, their group, their specific brands, and how I could help and make sure that you don't go through any of those hardships by not taking the necessary precautions to protect your brand.
Oh my gosh, Sasha, I adore you. So thank you so much for joining today, you guys. I hope you got amazing information. And follow Sasha. You can follow me. Just check out my website, jennifercblack.com. And again, you guys, we're going to follow up with another with the mergers and acquisitions, because we need to know about franchises, because
Yeah,
that's extra business. So you guys, be
right.
stay tuned for additional episodes, and thank you for joining. Tell them why you mad, sis. Speak what you really feel.